Happy Saturday, everybody, and welcome to the first tech only. We're not talking trading; it's just tech today. And we do have a guest. I wish I did not have to bring this guest here. Um, I'm going to have Time Lord BTC. He's going to be here for about 10, 15 minutes because he's got to get back to what he needs to do today. But Time Lord BTC, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, George. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I wanted Time Lord, I'm just going to call you Time Lord,
Sure.
to explain what happened to him because I think the Saturday broadcast I really wanted to do because I know there are a lot of new people here and that it's going back to people losing crypto. And I don't want that to happen to anybody. And Time Lord will go through what his experience was, and I'm going to show you how you can simply change some things in your life and make you much more secure. So, Time Lord, just share with everybody as much as you want to or as little as you want to, and we can kind of go from there.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. And again, thank you for spending some time. I know you were just coming back from vacation and get a hold of me right away to help me with this devastating loss of crypto. I think the lesson learned here is this happened actually exactly a week ago, last Saturday. I was a victim of the SIM swap attack. Really had no idea it was going on. It happened so fast. Was actually driving, was mobile and lost cell service, but my wife still did have cell service with T-Mobile. So I was kind of finding that a little odd. So I tethered to her phone, and then I started to see all these emails coming across from the exchanges. I had my cryptocurrency on exchanges. I didn't have a chance to put them onto cold storage, onto my ledger. Yet I was in the process of doing that, and just didn't have a chance to get that set up. So that's important. One lesson learned, to put all your crypto on your ledger. So this was all happening in real time, and the problem is I did not have an opportunity to get a hold of either Binance or Kraken to tell them that, hey, my accounts are being hacked. Put a stop. Right now. It just happened so quickly. So by the time I could actually pull over and check on things were already happening in motion. Even then, I called T-Mobile and I said, can you stop the SIM swap from happening? They're like, no, it's already happened. Someone called you already and changed your PIN number and got a hold of your account. And as you know, by the time they have your SIM, it's pretty much done. Then they have access to all your accounts. So they did access my email, and they were then able to get into two exchanges and pretty much wipe me clean of all my crypto. So important lessons here for sure. One is, of course, I did not have two-factor authentication on the exchanges set up. I think that is hubris, because you think, well, it's on an exchange, it's good enough. I'll get around to doing the Google Authenticated later. And sometimes we forget or we get busy, and that extra step would, as Jetta and others had already mentioned to me, that would have probably solved my problem right there. And I probably would not have lost all my crypto just by having two-factor Google Authenticator. I did have the two-factor, of course, authenticator set up where they were sending me an SMS. And as we discussed, George, if you remember, that's like the kiss of death, right? It's like, do not ever have that on your phone, because that just does not work. You are absolutely not going to be protected by having SMS. So I've changed everything in my life. Thank you, George. Again, I really appreciate your amazing human being to spend time with us, just kind of coaching us through and being sympathetic that, hey, this stuff happens, and we need to be much better protected. An interesting note, so I did hire actually an attorney to go after primarily T-Mobile. He told me, this is one of the biggest crypto attorneys in the country, in the US. This is happening on a daily basis. So he says people are losing millions of dollars. He's got clients that he's putting in lawsuits on a daily basis to Kraken, Coinbase, and also T-Mobile,
Wow.
because people are losing millions of dollars on a daily basis. So the crypto hacking, and it's great that you're having this live session because it is increasing immensely. People are getting hacked and they think that they're protected. And I think that's the biggest message. You think that you're okay. You think you have time. You think you can do this tomorrow or whatever. You don't. If you're in crypto, you have to, take your crypto course, the cybersecurity course that you have. That's an amazing course, and just get protected. Spend the time that you need to invest in that first, and then you're going to have a much better go at the cryptocurrency. Making the bench team.
Yeah, and it's interesting. There was another person last year who had T-Mobile, and the same exact thing happened, the same scenario. And T-Mobile seems to be very lax on their security. Like why they would just easily swap someone's SIM is beyond me, but they don't have the security measures in place. I don't have T-Mobile. But I know who the provider that I do have, I've contacted them and I've said I've been exposed, and my information is out there, and that they need to make sure that if there is any type of change in my account, that I need to physically come into a place and show ID. Now, whether or not they're actually going to do that, I don't know, but the SIM swap attack, and let me back up a little bit for everybody that hasn't been here since 2017. The SIM swap attack was a big attack back in 2017. It's where they go to your phone provider and say, hey, I lost my phone, or my SIM is bad and I need a new SIM. And then the phone company's like, of course, we'll just send you a new SIM or enable the SIM. And all of a sudden, your phone that you pay for and your service that you pay for goes to the hacker on their phone. And then they just break into all the accounts that are associated with your phone number or your email address, because they can get phone calls, they can send and receive text messages. And it's really a false sense of security if you think SMS messaging is secure for anything, because this is a perfect example. And it's interesting how fast it happened to you. Like they stole your phone and then they had everything planned. Somehow, Time Lord, you were not a part of the Ledger data breach of user information, because you just got your Ledger, what, about a month ago?
Yeah. I just got my ledger about a month ago. So no, this was the T-Mobile hack. And in fact, the Wall Street Journal just came out with an article yesterday where the person was identified that did the hack. He was a 21-year-old American, Turkish-American guy that said it was incredibly easy. He had no idea that T-Mobile was this lax in their security. But it is actually, according to the attorneys, or according to my attorney, one of the largest hacks, data breaches that has happened to cell phone providers for sure. So it's a really, really big deal. People are very compromised with this particular attack.
Yeah, and so to get over that, and a lot of it is in the class, and we'll briefly go over it, because more than anything, I wanted this forum so that people could ask questions. We could kind of go through a few things, and I don't want this this live stream to last more than an hour. It's the middle of Saturday on a weekend, but I want to start that process of maybe we do have this twice a month so that we can get things to a point where the information not just goes out to people on Thursday, because some people don't listen to the live streams, and we can just kind of focus on tech. Time Lord, I really appreciate you sharing your experience. And is there anything else that you'd like to share with everybody?
No, I think that's about it. I mean, just don't procrastinate. Do it now if you haven't got your ledger set up. We've got amazing folks on the Telegram group. Jetta Red, shout out to Laughing Hyena. We spent some time setting up my ledger the other day. He says, yeah, before you do anything, we're going to set this up. So we set up the ledger and got all my whatever crypto I did have from other exchanges that weren't hacked. onto the ledger, and I feel much better, especially talking with you to get all the other aspects set up that to make yourself more secure. So thank you again, George, for doing this today. I think our listeners and our binge team are going to be really giving some great advice on how to make themselves a lot more secure. And again, one of those things, everyone thinks it's going to happen to somebody else. That
Yep.
is the biggest thing. It's like, well, I'm just a little guy. And I told this lawyer, I'm just a little guy. I'm like, no, I'm not the multimillionaires that they're going after. They're like, no, you're all fair game. And they're taking everybody's stuff. So it just doesn't matter.
Yep. And that is so true. It's you know, it can happen to you because I hear about it all the time. You know, I know someone down in Australia, they lost it on Christmas Day because they had things on their computer. And it's interesting. They lost everything on their computer, but everything on the exchanges, because they had two-factor authentication enabled, everything was safe on the exchanges. So, you know, it's we want to make sure that everybody's safe. Thank you much, and hopefully we will talk again, but on better circumstances.
Exactly. Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
Okay, no problem. So what I'm going to do is go over a couple things that that may help you. Most of the people, well, I should say, hopefully most of the people out there have two-factor authentication on their phone. You can have like Google Auth. You could have, you know, there's a variety. I personally use Lastpass's two-factor authentication. And for anybody that doesn't know what two-factor authentication is, to be secure, you have a password, but your password can be breached. And so typically if you have a password, that's something that you know, and then it's something that you have, which could be a hardware key like the Yubikey that we're showing right here, or something that you have, which is a one-time password that's created by a Google Authenticator or LastPass Auth. There's a lot of different two-factor authenticators out there. I have moved really the majority of my two-factor authentication to a Yubikey for a couple of reasons. Actually, I have 3 Yubikeys in case I lose one, then I have backups, that type of thing. But Yubikey is so much easier to have two-factor authentication on. You touch a little button because I leave my Yubikey when I'm at my computer, on my computer, instead of having to get out my phone, see the app, see what website I'm going to. The Yubikey just makes it much easier. There's some information in the class, and that is one thing that you may want to head to. You know, I've had a hardware key for years and years, and in the beginning, I got it, and I said to myself, why did I get this? No one is using it. But that is not the case anymore. I don't know any bank that uses a hardware key, but I know a lot of exchanges that do. Binance didn't, now they do, and now they offer multiple YubiKeys that you can program. GoDaddy, I don't think PayPal does, but PayPal just recently enabled 2FA, which is crazy because they deal with, you know, fiat, and they should be very secure, but you know, some places care, some places don't. But I highly recommend going to the top line of a hardware key because it does make your life much more secure. We're going to drop back into, there is another airdrop for XRP. Someone sent this out to me. I don't have any XRP, so I will not be participating in this. But you know, if you do, I'm sure that there'll be more information coming out for that. I'm going to go through a little bit of things that are on my list that I'd like to cover, and then we can kind of go to some of your questions. But you know, this is really going to be based for some of the newer people because it's information that I've come across while having conversations with people, and there are just some things that that people don't necessarily know. And the first one is, I know Jay has really recommended Flamingo, and that is great. And Flamingo, people are like, I need a wallet for Flamingo, and I have to, or you know, people in the group, just let them know that it's like a it's like an ERC20 for the Neo platform. And so Flamingo goes in your Neo wallet. But what people also have to remember is when you send your Flamingo out to be sold or send it to a new wallet, you're gonna need gas to do that. So you may get your Flamingo into your Neo wallet, but if you don't have Neo, which is the main coin, when you hold Neo, it creates gas automatically that you can claim. If you don't have Neo in that wallet, you're going to need to put some gas in the wallet. Otherwise, you're not necessarily going to be able to send out the Flamingo or Neo. But when you have Neo, it creates gas for you. That's important for when we start to move to Neo 3.0, which we'll look at after September 1st, but you will need a little bit of gas in there to move it. It's just like you're going to need some Ethereum to send Ethereum or any ERC token. The ERC20 tokens that reside in the Ethereum wallet, like SHIB and some of the others, they need Ethereum to be sent out or anything to be sent out from there. Wax is also in the news. Jay was talking about that, and it kind of brought out the fact that anybody that's held Wax for a while and did not convert it, Wax started out like many of the cryptos out there, a few of them, not every one of them, but many of them started out on the ERC20 or as an ERC20 on the Ethereum network, and then they moved to their own network. And Wax was one of them. This was years ago. Wax converted, and if you still have Wax as an ERC20, they have not reopened a bridge that will connect the Ethereum network to the Wax network. So you're just going to hold it. They may never open that bridge again. Just hold on to it. It's pretty much worthless right now. But who knows in the future? I keep on asking every couple months, and they say, "Oh, well, we're thinking about it. We're just not sure." Moving on to Chrome 91. If you are dealing with trying to move cryptos, trying to get into a wallet, and you're having issues on either Brave or Chrome or Chromium based, you may be running into the Chrome 91 issue. If that is true, what you can do is try Firefox. So if you're having issues on one browser, try another. They kind of balance each other out at times. Sometimes it works on Chrome, sometimes it works on Firefox. We're in this weird state of flux between the browsers, and just try different browsers because it may resolve your issue. One thing that I have found when I'm moving a bunch of coins around and going from app to app on the ledger is that sometimes I will need to unplug, power down the ledger, and boot it up, and then things are fine. So when I'm moving from app to app, it doesn't happen all the time. It's kind of random, but I found that if I do power it down, it pretty much seems to purge the memory on the ledger, and then you can bring that back up, and it should resolve some of the issues out there. Let's see. Kind of going through these rapid fire. Okay, this is also kind of a one that reappears every now and then, and people are asking, like, when a new piece of software comes out, or a new application or a new website, and they're like, well, can this replace Proton Mail or Signal? And most of the time, I don't like to be on what we'll call the bleeding edge, which is newer technology. When I'm dealing with email and communications, I like to stay with the tried and true. There's really, unless someone feels like they don't like Proton, they don't like their secure messaging, then you can try something new. But I like tried and true. I don't necessarily like the bleeding edge because it's communication. I tried that with a Pine phone a while ago. A Pine phone is a Linux-based cell phone, and there would be updates and the phone would die. And I'm not willing to take the time to play with that right now. I mean, it's been probably a year and a half, so things have changed. But I want to spend my time and focus on my crypto side of things, especially with November coming up. And that's where I'm putting my time and effort. I'm finding my coins, I'm putting the list together, I'm moving them to and staging them for what I have plans for, as well as I'm making my plans right now, and they definitely change. I think that's all on my list. Let me take a look through some of your questions and we can go from there. Okay. Please explain how to create a wallet for Wax and Track. Okay. Sanford, that is the Wax, creating a Wax wallet right now for Ledger is a 30-minute video that it's on the site. If you plan on getting out of things this fall, I would not try to create a Wax wallet. Wax is an EOS based, and there are a ton of hoops to jump through. I think it's going to cost you to create a Wax wallet, or that could just be the EOS. But I would, depending on how much you hold, you may want to put it into an Exodus wallet, an Atomic wallet, and not worry about it if you're not going to hold it long term. Put it on your ledger. Track, though, I thought Track was, hold on, let me move this around, because this is a perfect time to talk about things. Okay, TRA, Track. Okay, there is no wallet for Track, Origin Trail. It is an ERC20, and I can tell you that right away because when you go and you look at the coin on CoinMarketCap, there are others. You can do CoinGecko. I'm just most familiar with this because I'll show you some cool things. Number one, you'll see that it is, I know it's an ERC20 because the contract here is an Ethereum-based contract, which means it's an ERC20, which means it's going to go onto your Ethereum, your ETH wallet address. That being said, you can also put it on I don't know, XDAIA chain. I did not know that they had their own, but the majority of Origin Trail is an ERC20, and you can put it right in there. So one cool thing that anybody is using MetaMask, and if you did not have this coin in your MetaMask, you can click this little Fox logo, which is kind of a button, and it will automatically add the coin to your MetaMask. So if it's one of those coins where there aren't that many, it's not that popular, it may not show up in MetaMask. And it used to be that you had to go through and manually click on this, get the contract. They don't trust me. Get the contract and then add it. Oh, come on, I'm not going to deal with that. Basically, you take the contract number, you'd add it into MetaMask manually, and the coin would show up there. Oh, you guys don't see the drop down for MetaMask. Let's see if we can change that. You don't see anything. Okay. There you go. So when you click on the little fox head right here, it should add it, and you can't see the pop-up, but you can try it and it'll show you, and it'll add the token, and you can see right here, track has been added there. So it's a quick and easy way to add a coin to MetaMask. Okay, so excited. You are covering Flare. Are you in Trustline group yet? Hold on. Okay. Are you in the Trustline groups yet? Nope, I am not. Question, best ways to get rid of old Macs. I have several old laptops, iMacs. Some are working, some are not. None of these had HD encryption. How do I clean, wipe, or destroy them? That is a really good question because part of it is, it depends on what state you're in, recycling laws, where you can recycle. But anything, like I have a bunch of computers that I have not recycled. If you can, take out the hard drive and basically just bash it with a hammer or use a drill and drill through the platters on the older hard drives. If you have a platter hard drive, that's all well and good. It's easy to kind of find. Some of the laptops, it's honestly, it's hard to find where some of the newer hard drives are on a newer laptop because they are not a mechanical. They are an SSD, which is a solid state drive, which basically means it's like a piece of, or it's like a memory module. And you'd have to find that and destroy that to destroy all your data. I don't ever give hard drives away, even if I didn't have cryptos on it. I destroy a hard drive and then I will donate the computer if anybody will take it. But nowadays, with solid state drives being in laptops, I have two on my shelf, and I'm not sure what to do with them because you can go through and you can reformat. I'm just not that comfortable right now to do it. There is a program that I used to use. You'd have to create like a boot up thumb drive, and I think it's called Disk Kill, and it goes through and it'll do DoD standards like a 7 pass to the hard drive and it will wipe it out. If you do a DoD standard, I think that would be enough to wipe the drive. I just don't want to take the time. And so if I can find the hard drive, I'll destroy the hard drive and either donate the computer or recycle. But again, with the laptops that have the SSD built in, you'd have to pry it apart and to pull off and even find the SSD, especially on the new M1s and others. I think they're just soldered right onto the board. So you may have to get a high-end software to wipe that out. This is Jetta Red. Welcome, Jetta. Not just T-Mobile, but almost happens with me to Verizon Wireless. So don't think there are any safe carriers. No, there aren't any safe carriers. I just was noticing that T-Mobile had come up at least 3 times. And just put, call your carrier and see what they can do to protect you. If you request this and if you ask them to document it and then you're hacked, I think you have a better lawsuit on your hands. But here's the thing, put 2-factor authentication on your accounts. And if your phone is hacked, you really don't have to worry about that because there's nothing that they can get. So that's one way and the best way to protect yourself from the carriers. Okay, please help us get ICP into a Nervous Network wallet. There are no YouTube videos to set up the wallet. Coin stuck on Coinbase. Thank you. I don't have ICP, so there's nothing that I can do right now to show you. You're going to probably have to keep it on Coinbase at this point in time. It's kind of like Casper. Casper is on an exchange that someone got for me. They're holding it. Casper said that they are going to be releasing a Ledger app. They haven't yet. That is one thing to take into account when you're purchasing a coin. If you don't have a place to put it, definitely don't purchase that much, and maybe an Italian dinner, but I guess it depends on what Italian dinner. Jay's Italian dinner is much bigger than my Italian dinner as compared to probably everybody else's, but that's just part of the crypto space. Years ago, it was hard to move a lot of coins. They were just on core wallets, which you had to run on a computer, which you had to back up the wallet.dat file, and it didn't make it very fun. Jetta Red again. Hackers don't know what you have, So everyone is a target, unless you're on the air, and then they kind of target you. And so just be a gray man. Don't talk about it. I don't talk to my neighbors anymore. I don't wear my Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum t-shirts. In fact, they are in the recycle to be given to a charity. I'm just kind of very low key and want to keep it that way. Hi, relatively new. I'm having trouble getting my IOST coins off Binance to my ledger. IOST will not go to your ledger that I know of right now. Could you kindly advise me how to remove and store IOST? IOST is right now, let me find that. I had to use a Hobie wallet, then they closed down the Hobie wallet on your iPhone, but I believe, hold on, the staking, where is it? Somewhere I have a page that talks about the Citadel wallet for IOST, and I can't find that. Oh, that may be on, hold on, let me take a look. Some things are scattered all over. blacklab.net was something I put together way back in the day, before I really kind of joined forces with Jay. And if you go to blacklab.net and you go under the crypto lab, under coin staking, there is IOST. And I think it's going to talk about, yeah, IOST wallet creation using Citadel wallet. That may be a little aged because I created that back in September of September 2020, but that will give you a place to put it. I know Jay used the Citadel wallet for that, and that's probably the best place to start. Chad, should we unstake FLM before September 1st? I did, because I don't know what I don't know, and I don't expect anything to go wrong on Flamingo Finance. I don't know what they're going to do September 1st. I have not read up in the last week, and you guys may know more on this than I do, but they're talking about Neo being converted from 2.0 to 3.0, but they haven't really talked about the coins like Flamingo. And I know that needs to be moved to the 3.0 platform. So I'm just bringing them home. If I'm losing a little bit of Flamingo earnings, I'm fine with that, because I would rather have my capital than earnings on capital. And because a couple examples that are out there, like PPT. There's some great news that came out this week about PPT and their platform. But when some people in this group, I know for sure, someone that I have a regular one-on-one with every week, they staked some PPT, and the unstake button just was grayed out. They could never use it. So you had to, I think Jetta Red put this together. You had to put some coding in there to unstake your PPT. And it's just, I don't want anybody to get to that point where it's really a lot of work to do something. We should never have to try to do something like that. A site that's released staking, or that they're really serious about things, they should have that in place, and people shouldn't have to try to hack something to get their coins back. So what's going to happen September 1st with Neo? I don't expect anything wrong happening on Flamingo Finance. I just don't know. So I'm just taking mine off so I don't have to spend much time there. Does Neo need to be unstaked to go to the N3 network? Will there be staking options for the N3? I believe you're going to have to, this is from AE, you are going to have to unstake your Neo to have it converted, because you got to remember your Neo that you stake is tied to the wallet address that you staked it from. And so because that wallet address is a 2.0 wallet, you are going to have to unstake and restake it. What the, let's see. Oh, I guess Jetta Red has sent me some information, but there is, yeah, you know what? I heard about this too, Jetta, and it's a long list of how to get ICP off the exchanges, and maybe we can post that somewhere on the .NET site so people can do that. I don't have any, so I can't give a real example, but yeah, you're going to need to unstake your Neo 2.0 and convert it, and then we'll see what Flamingo Finance says. They are going to have to change things, I believe, some of the code on Flamingo Finance, but I haven't really read what they intend to do. Safety of the Theta wallet. Move to Ledger? Absolutely. Theta, let's take a look at that. Theta token, if you go to the wallet, there's key store, not secure. Mnemonic phrase, not secure. Private key, not secure. All of these expose yourself to someone gaining access to your information and being able to easily suck it from your life, and you'll never see it again. Back to one person I was working with, they had a lot of things, paper wallets, private keys, things stored on their computer. And he knows this, but the first time I spoke with him, I was terrified for him. I didn't want to say, like, as terrified as I was, but he had a lot of crypto that could have easily been taken away. And I'm even working with people today that have key stores, mnemonic phrases, private keys. And just to let you know, if someone copies and pastes a private key, they can have your cryptos in about 30 seconds. And what a hardware wallet does is it protects you from yourself. The ledger and the treasurer, they hold the private keys, so you can't give it away. Someone could hold a gun to your head and say, I want your private keys, and it's stored in the ledger. You don't know it. You can't know it. It's impossible because that's what a hardware wallet does. A hardware wallet just says, yes, no. They match, they don't match. On, off. And that's what, anything that I can put on a hardware wallet, I do. If I hold a lot of coins, I'll only hold a coin with a lot of value if I can put it on a hardware wallet, because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to maintain it. I don't want to keep a lot of private keys, mnemonic phrases, and key stores. They're a file itself that you would just drag and it would unlock things. These are all legacy. Legacy meaning you should not be using them. They're here because they need to be for people that had done it in the past, but you really need to move up to a hardware wallet when you have cryptos, any value, to be honest. Okay, as a newbie, I didn't buy Hex, the Hex class. It seemed complex. I would like to know if my coins will get the match. My SHIB are on Ledger, my XLM and other ERC20s are on Exodus. What do I do to get these free match coins? Well, any of your coins that are on Exodus, I believe Bud can confirm this, and maybe we'll have him confirm it. But if you're not holding it in your wallet, and I don't know if, let me see if Exodus is considered your wallet. I know you have private keys, but if you have them on your ledger, for sure that will be they'll be duplicated, basically cloned when they clone the Ethereum network. Okay, Margaret says she can't hear, but I'm guessing you guys all can hear me. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be getting so many questions. Gas, do we all need gas? So new to crypto and had no clue about that. Yeah, you need gas depending on what you're doing. Gas typically means that you have NEO. There's NEO gas, but they also refer to gas for um, for Ethereum and other coins that will send their coins, but they need a little bit of a payment for those coins to be sent. So depending on the blockchain, you do need gas. You need some type or form of payment, but you know the blockchains are all very different. I know the other day I was trying to send some probably about $3,000 worth of a coin, and it was going to cost me $23 on the Ethereum network. Now, if I sent $50,000 worth of Litecoin, it would have cost me under a penny. So, you know, the fees all depend on the blockchain, and the terms also depend on the blockchain. So if I'm sending coins, if I'm sending Litecoin, there's a network fee, which some people may say is kind of a gas fee to send, but for sure, Neo, you need gas, and Ethereum, you pay in Ethereum, but it's kind of a gas fee. Where do you store SHIB and T-Fuel? SHIB is an ERC20. T-Fuel, hopefully you have a hardware wallet, and this is a little weird. T-Fuel is on the Theta network, just like Theta token is on the Theta network. To unlock your ledger, you use an Ethereum app. You open the Ethereum app on your ledger, and that's what controls the Theta wallet. I know some people have said, well, you know, it's an Ethereum address, and don't refer to it as an Ethereum address. It is on the Theta network, and so it is your Theta address. If you try to send your Theta or T-Fuel to Caleb and Brown, and you say, well, it's just on my it's on my Ethereum network, or it's my Ethereum address, they're going to say, nope, you need to get the correct address. They are very similar addresses, but they're very different networks. So there are a couple videos out on the Bitcoin Academy YouTube channel that talk about Theta, how you can stake it on Gpool, you can stake Theta, you can stake T-Fuel on Gpool. So those videos are right there, and it kind of goes through how to access the videos. Okay, I use Caleb and Brown for big purchases, but I am buying 500 to 1,000. I buy on Coinbase Pro. I have it secured with a Yubikey for desktop and Touch ID on my phone. Is the latter okay, or should I take it off my iPhone and only use my desktop? I don't use, well, and this is a cool thing, because if you have a newer iPhone or Android, you can use the Yubikey. There is on one of these, somewhere in here, you can touch the top of your phone. I'd have to dig through and see that. You can touch the top of your phone, and it will, if you have the right hardware on both sides, the right Yubikey, the right iPhone, you can touch the Yubikey to the top of your phone and it will authenticate. The I wouldn't necessarily use my phone. I know a lot of people use their phone for crypto stuff. I don't use my phone for crypto stuff. I have one wallet on it, and that is the Hedera. Actually, it's Hedera Hashgraph, but it is the Walla wallet, so that I can create wallets for people, because I can scan the QR code and easily do it. Other than that, I don't use my phone. My phone can be lost. My phone can be compromised, meaning, you know, someone could take it. It's not like a big desktop on my office, you know, desk, but I know that's not going to stop people from using their phone for crypto. You can't see as much I don't think you can compare addresses as well as you can on a desktop. So I don't recommend using your phone for crypto. I know, it's what you feel comfortable with. I don't feel comfortable using my phone with crypto, but you know, if you're going to do that, Touch ID, is that touch as in the thumbprint or is it facial? I would feel most comfortable going through and uh, doing it as a password each time, but it also depends on your lifestyle. If you travel, I wouldn't use Face ID or Touch ID because if you get into TSA, TSA can easily just scan your face if they want to look at your phone for any reason, or anybody really can. So, if you're mugged, people know about it. They know you're into crypto. All they have to do is hold your phone to your face and it's been unlocked. So that really kind of gives, not the protection that you need. See if your phone will handle the Yubikey, and that would be better than nothing. Some of the apps won't necessarily use the Yubikey and the app on the phone. Some will, but check it out and just be as safe as you can. Sound keeps lapsing. Margaret, I'm not sure if anybody else is having that issue. If you're on a wireless device, it may just be a bad connection. Okay, what's the difference between MetaMask and Ledger? There's lots of differences, and it's really hard to show you because you don't see the dropdown, but MetaMask allows you to interact with online wallets, and used to be the original way that you could do that. Yep, someone just signaled me and said, no problem with sound. Some ways you have to use MetaMask to interface with wallets, but that's also changing. With MetaMask, you need to have, when you install MetaMask first thing, you have to create a MetaMask account, which I believe is 12 words. In those 12 words, keep them safe and secure, but don't necessarily use that particular account. What you can do is you can see that I can attach my ledger, I can have different accounts here, and I have my MetaMask account. Usually I don't keep anything in this particular one. Oh yeah, this is my ADA, so I could do the conversion. But what you can do is you can tag your ledger or your Trezor to MetaMask, and you can use the interfaces that sometimes are necessary to talk with different online wallets, basically. And MetaMask is so popular that Ledger doesn't necessarily have to write an application to interface with an exchange that might need an interface for communication with wallet or sending back and forth coins from that particular wallet. So there is a big difference between MetaMask. Can't see your MetaMask. Yep. Yeah, you can't see MetaMask on here. Let me see if I can bring it in. Let me get this. So this is kind of what the drop-down menu. Yeah, so, oh yeah. So here is my ledger, my different accounts, and these are kind of just test accounts that I've done things with, but this will bring up my ledger account, and I'm not willing to bring that up because it will show other things in there. But this is where you can interface with different online wallets. Ledger stores different type of cryptos. The MetaMask typically is only ERC20s. Your Ledger is a variety of coins that can be stored there and a variety of blockchains. Okay, the next one, yeah, what is MetaMask? That may be a topic for a different time because there's a lot to that. What is the easiest way to change your current password to a new one that is generated with Lastpass? if it's the security module, just tell me to refer to that. You know, it honestly depends on the website. Um, I'd have to create a dummy uh, Lastpass account to kind of show you some of that. But it's when you go to each website, there's different ways and different requirements to change a password. When you go to a website, they may require a you know, a phone call or a text message or an email to verify that. And so you can't just easily change it from LastPass. You can go in and have LastPass create a password for you and you can replace it, but it really just depends on the website. There are some others. LastPass has something, and half the time it worked, half the time it didn't, but it said, okay, update all my passwords, and it magically went through and connected to the websites and did the changes that way. It seemed like most of the time it did not work correctly, but every website that I go to has a different password. I highly recommend it because if you know, any site has a data breach, they can get to that website, but they're not going to get to any other of my my accounts on other websites because everything has a different password. Is Casper still stuck on exchanges? Exodus, you have mentioned they have done, you had mentioned they were close on Ledger Live. Uh, well, communicating with someone over at Casper, they said that they've submitted the Casper app to Ledger, but Ledger is not going to just take someone's word that their app is working 100% and that there's no malware in the app. So LastPass, sorry, not LastPass. I'm looking at the LastPass app. Ledger needs to go through and verify that there's not any malware on an app that's been submitted. So there is a submission process that needs to happen at Ledger before they're going to release any app out there. I'm guessing Casper is going to be in the next release. You'll know that there are additional apps available for Ledger when you get updates. Updates allow the apps to be distributed that way. They're not going to just push them from their servers. So if you see an update on Ledger and you're downloading and install it, then you can check for any of the new apps that might be released. And as of a couple days ago, Casper was not there. Yes, this video will be recorded and I will post it just like Thursday's live stream. Same software, same thing. Do you use the same Yubikey for phone as laptops? My 2FA dedicated to another phone, which I only leave in an EMF protected case. Thanks. Randy, I have 3 Yubikeys and they go from laptop to desktop to phone. And so I use them everywhere. I have 3 because most of the applications that allow a Yubikey, a hardware key to protect your password as a secondary authentication, you can put multiple keys on there. So anytime I put one of my Yubikeys on, I take one out of my hiding places and I also authenticate those. So yeah, you know, an EMF protected case, hopefully it doesn't come to that, but I totally understand. That is the way to go. There is someone who reminded me, sent me a signal message, and they have told me, because they were safe experts, that when you have a fireproof safe, just know if you have a big fire, your fireproof safe will fill up with water. And I did not know that until she said, just to let you know, it's great to keep things in a fireproof safe, but you're going to be drenched after a fire. So I have bags coming, I think they're coming today, that I am going to be storing my Yubikeys, my thumb drives, my ledgers, you know, anything electronic that is in my hiding place. I'm going to be putting in those bags, as well as paper documents, because if you have passports, if you have birth certificates, you have all of those type of things in a major fire, you're going to have that issue. I did not know that. I knew floods, there was going to be an issue. I never thought we'd kind of get a flood here. And 2 weeks ago that I was proven wrong. And hopefully everybody in the way of the hurricane coming up through New Orleans, you will also take precautions for that. So really depending on where you are in the country, in California, you absolutely have to worry about fires, and at the Gulf Coast in Florida, you need to worry about water. Recycling place I worked for would destroy the hard drives for you in front of you. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Be Anonymous. Tip: when opening a bank account, ask them about 2FA. Recently opened an account and they only offer SMS 2FA. Yeah, that is like when they say SMS 2FA, just laugh and say, yeah, we all know that that's not secure, right? And they'll say, oh, really? What a joke. But you know what? It's better than nothing, but it's also, I think they're going to be insured, whereas cryptos, you're not insured. So just know that. The other thing that I thought was really interesting, I learned this through John Jay, but if you're going to open up a bank account and you're going to have a checking account, most of the time, none of us write checks, but we may not want people to know our address. So the checks that I will be ordering sometime this weekend, they're just going to have the name, my name, or the name of a business or an LLC or a trust, just the name at the top and no address. So, you don't use checks at the grocery store or other places. So why put an address where someone can gain more information? Hi, George. If you have SHIB in a ledger and you want to convert into ETH or USDC with 1inch, I know you need ETH in a ledger for gas fees, but do I need ETH in 1inch as well? 1inch, it's going to be in and out because it does take it right back to your Ethereum account, correct? If it does, that's part of the process. A lot of the times, I haven't used 1inch in a while. I did get an airdrop from them, but if you have ETH in your account to send it out, that should be part of the process of bringing it back in. Okay. Hi, could you kindly advise the best way to buy and sell PXT, preferably using Ledger? CoinMarketCap says Uniswap. I've never used a DEX and would greatly appreciate any advice so we don't lose our coins. I was working with someone that had some PXT on Fork Delta. Question whether you really want to put something into a coin that is difficult to purchase and to sell. Let's take a look at something. Okay, the markets, they do show come on. It is Uniswap, but it's taking its time. So Uniswap here, PXT, the volume the last 24 hours was $1,144. That means the liquidity, frankly, sucks. If you wanted to get out of $10,000 worth of PXT right now, you wanted to buy $10,000 worth of PXT right now, you're going to be taking the whole book. You're going to be buying people's that are way ahead. I would look at a different coin, kind of going back to, if it's really hard to get a coin, is it something that you want to invest in short term? If you're looking at this 5 years out, maybe you do. But if you're asking the question, how can I buy this coin? How can I store it? Everybody else is asking that question. And, unless there's a good reason to hold a coin like that, I just move and go to something that's going to have some big movement. With the volume of $1,144 in 24 hours, there's no liquidity. So I'm not going to tell you how to buy it except going to Uniswap, but and this is not my forum for this. You're going to have to go to Uniswap, but the amount of volume that's there, it's really not worth it. And you have to remember, Populus, PXT, sorry, um, is an ERC20. So if you bought, let's say you're like, okay, I'm going to go do a little Italian dinner and I want to buy $35 worth or $40 worth and gamble. Well, that $40 worth would cost about $23 to send. So when you bought it, not only are you going to be paying the fees at Uniswap, you're going to be sending them to your wallet, and then you're going to be sending them to Caleb and Brown. Well, no, actually, you're not going to be sending to Caleb and Brown. You're going to be sending them back to Uniswap to take them back into a wrapped ETH, and then you have to unwrap the ETH or send it to ETH to get the value out. I would pass on this because, again, it's too much work for a coin that has too little volume. It's not worth it. And because there's so much work involved, no other people are going to really put that much time and effort into it. Okay, Crypto Deb, do I need to create an O3 wallet to bring FLM from Caleb Brown to my ledger, or should I wait until after September 1st? That is a good question. It depends on if they're going to convert them there. I mean, I would just wait until after September 1st. You're going to need to know whether it's a 2.0 or a 3.0. The fees for sending aren't that big on Neo, but we're at the 28th, so I think Tuesday, is that the 1st? Let them keep it until the 1st and ask them if it's 2.0 or 3.0 and kind of take it from there. Yeah, I guess that's August. Yeah, Wednesday is September 1st. Crypto Raw. I just happened to be on my laptop when a message appeared in my email that T-Mobile SIM had been changed. Within 5 minutes, I was on the phone with T-Mobile representative and we immediately ported my SIM card back to my cell phone, therein taking away the access from the person that stole the SIM card in their phone. I did have 2FA on 5 exchanges that I've used for the last 4 years, and within 2 hours, he logged into all accounts. None of my assets were stolen, and I changed my password on all accounts, including my personal bank account and credit cards. Crypto Raw, congratulations for catching that. Tell family members to do the same thing. Okay. So yeah, Crypto Raw, you were SIM hacked with T-Mobile, but then again, you had things put in place and you really kind of hopped right on it. Having two-factor authentication that's not SMS based is really kind of protecting you. Okay. I was trying to store some stable coins off Binance onto my ledger, and the ERC20 transaction fees were quite high. Yeah, welcome to ERC20 world. I tried sending as a test TRX transaction, and it didn't end up in my ledger. That's because it went on the Tron network. Searching online, I found that the ledger states that it needs to send to you need to send at least 0.01 TRX to a new account before you can send tokens to it. So yeah, HGB, it depends on where you sent them. You got to remember, let's see. I don't know what coin. I was trying to store some stable coins. Let's go to USDC because I know that is on a ton. USD, oh, maybe it's USDC. Okay, so right here, kind of when we looked at this earlier, you can see that it's an ERC20 because it has the Ethereum contract, but then we have more, and this dropdown is going to be pretty big. So USDC can go on the Binance Smart Chain. It can go on Tomo Chain, Solana, XDA, Phantom, Polygon, KCC. So these are all networks that you can send USDC to, but you have to make sure that you have the correct address for it. So this one does not have Tron. Let me do USDT, and I know there's going to be a lot more. Okay, so what probably happened was, you know what? Yeah, Tron. So you sent it. Do you guys see the pop? Okay, yeah, you do see the pop-up. You sent it to the Tron blockchain, and it depends on what address you sent it there. So you would need to have set up a Tron wallet with a Tron wallet address to send to. If you sent it to the same wallet address as an ERC to the Tron network, I don't know what happened. You may or may not be able to get that back. But when you're sending it cross-chain, when you're sending it to a different chain, you have to have something on the other side to receive it, which would be a wallet address that that you own. So you'd need to make sure that you have that set up properly so that it can receive it properly. Yep, you are correct, AE. This person says, but they don't need to buy gas tokens directly. Owning NEO earns them gas. Yes, the issue is when you buy FLM, typically you don't necessarily, or what I've seen, people don't buy NEO at the same time. And I'm not sure how that works over at Caleb & Brown. You may buy $2,000 worth of FLM, but are you going to buy $2,000 of NEO? So one of the things you can think about doing is you can either buy gas, which the price of gas is going up pretty well, or you can swap some of the Flamingo into either gas or NEO and hold gas, or turn it into NEO, and NEO will produce some gas for you automatically by just holding it in your wallet. That is also one of the reasons why you want to hold your own coins off the different exchanges. Some of the exchanges, they may give you the gas, but I know if you hold your NEO over at Caleb & Brown, they keep your gas. And that's just the way that it is. They also keep airdrops if they participate. If there are airdrops and your coins are over Caleb & Brown, they've stated you don't get the airdrops. It's too difficult for them to do that. So that's why you would hold your own coins. Binance is still stalling and allowing me to withdraw under $400 in a couple of coins by claiming that my video KYC was not acceptable. This is the story that many Binance clients have also been complaining about. In fact, a class action lawsuit has been created. Yep, that's why I don't keep anything on there. And they changed the rules, and I need to go back on to my Binance and take a look. I think I have just a little bit there. I think I have just a little bit of dust. And when someone says dust, because I know we've used that term before, dust means a very small amount that you might have been left someplace and you can't do much with, but that's what dust is. Okay, TX, I only use my iPhone to make small purchases, but I use desktop, whitelisted addresses, and a Yubikey for desktop when it's time to move it. Congratulations, that is the way to do it. Any word from Brother Bud on when we might be preparing for the Pulse Chain ERC20 release? I haven't heard news on when Hart is releasing. Yeah, well, I think Richard Hart is realizing that it's not just as easy as he thinks. I know Bud and I were talking the other day, and We're still waiting for the test net to come out. When the test net comes out, which it may be out, I don't know. We haven't talked in the last 3 days. Then we can kind of look at, how things might look. But right now, we're just waiting for Pulse Chain. I did buy the two-sided Yubikey for my iPhone and my Mac, but haven't been able to get it to work. Um, I guess it depends on what kind of errors you're getting, and what you're using it with. Have you tried it on a website like Google or Binance or something that takes a hardware wallet? Because just putting your Yubikey into your computer really doesn't do anything because it's authenticating. And so you would need to pair it with something that will accept a hardware key to pair with. So yeah, I need a little bit more information on that. We still see Yubico. Okay. Is it good to have both a ledger and a treasurer? Rose, that really depends on what you want to do. I prefer ledger, but that's just me personally. I was working with someone this morning, and the treasurer suite is out, and he said it's much friendlier than it was in the past. You can see things, so it's a personal choice. I just know Ledger has more coins that are written for it, and that's what I feel comfortable with. Thank you, Anthony. Thanks for the level 5. I have LastPass 2, different passwords on all sites, but what if they are hacked? Do you mean LastPass? Well, LastPass, and I can't show you this, but LastPass, you can lock things down. You can lock things down more now than you could when I first started using LastPass, probably over 7 years ago. But you can tag, one of the main reasons why I have hardware keys, besides making sure that all my exchanges and other important sites are not hacked. I mean, even Twitter. I logged into my Twitter a couple weeks ago. It's the only social media I have, and I don't use it. But I was testing something, and they use. I set it up with my Yubikey, but LastPass will lock things down, and I found this out kind of the hard way. My family went to Japan, and we went for about 4 weeks. Our son was just over a year, or just under a year, I can't remember. And I said, oh, I don't really need to take anything except, my LastPass, because I'll get into all the websites. Well, I forgot. Actually, it's not that I forgot. I just didn't know that you can limit your LastPass connections to particular countries. So by default, because I'm in the United States, I think it was United States, Canada, I think it was Mexico, but I didn't have anything else turned on. So when I tried to access it from Japan, and this was before I had my own VPN, I could not get any of my passwords. So it made life a lot easier because I couldn't get into anything and I didn't have to worry about it. I could get into my mail still, but nothing else. But LastPass, you can really lock things down. LastPass, I have locked down with my hardware YubiKey. So someone can try to get in. They can use my master password if they ever knew it. It's a hard one, but they can't get past having the hardware, a hardware key to get into all my passwords. I don't keep any of my 12 words, 24 words, private keys, anything like that on my LastPass because it's still available on the net. And I never keep things of value like that on the net because they can immediately be taken away from me. If they want to hack my website and make funny things happen, that's one thing, but I don't feel like they can. Doing the research, there's a couple of videos on in the cybersecurity class, the University of Nottingham, a guy went through doing some research on hardware password managers, and they agreed that most researchers would rather have a password manager than not a password manager because they feel it's more secure. If you put a hardware key in place, it's virtually impossible for them to hack into that. Virtually, nothing's 100%, but I don't see how they could do that. Okay. Joyful Life. I ordered a ledger and waiting for it to come in, and I want to be prepared to use it. I've looked up YouTube videos and it's overwhelming. They show me how to set it up, but I also need help how to get the coins on and off. Do you suggest any videos for ledger on how-tos? It really depends, Joyful Life, because it depends on the blockchain. If you're just having Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, those types of coins that are on Ledger Live, it's easy to do. But when you have coins like Neo and ADA and Theta, they have a different way of keeping the ledger with communicating with their wallet. So it really depends on what coins you have. It is a little bit overwhelming, but if you eat a little bit, over time, you'll get to know the particular wallet. It's hard to say across the board, this is how you do anything, because every blockchain is very different. I definitely recommend Crypto Dad on his ledger videos. And I think there is a video, or sorry, there's links in the on the .io site. Under the founders page, he is, I've never met the man. I've emailed him, haven't heard back. It's okay, whatever. But he just seems like a really level-headed guy. I did talk to someone who did once have a consultation with him, and they said he's just a normal, nice guy that doesn't have a big ego like some of the other YouTubers out there. So if you look right here, that's his YouTube channel. He's also on Library. He was kicked off of YouTube for a while. I don't know why, but you know, it's YouTube. What do you expect? Okay, thank you, but I'm not going to read that one though. I've bought coins and never sold, and I'm getting excited. Yeah, okay, going back, you know, I know Jay did mention it was my birthday. I am not a big birthday person. Like it's just another day for me. You know, I have to thank my mom at least once a year for that, but I am just not a big birthday person. Okay, moving on. I've bought coins and never sold, and I'm getting excited and nervous when it comes to time to sell. Where can I look for help on selling coins without Caleb Brown? I have under 2K, and I may be bringing, and it may be bringing me less than 20K. Small, but I'm super excited. I'm new. One place, it depends on your coins. There are DEXs which are decentralized exchanges. They are, you know, there's Sushi Swap, there's Uniswap, there's Metamask Swap, where you're swapping coins. Let me get that, expand view. You can swap coins. And so I have some Ethereum and I want to go into T Fuel. Oh, look at that. No liquidity for T Fuel. Looks like someone's bought it all up. So, you know, you can use MetaMask, but that's typically limited to ERC20s. One place that I kind of like that I've used, but the liquidity also dries up, especially when things get going, is Simple Swap. Simple Swap does cross-chain. So if I wanted to take, this could be a real trade for me, Pivx. Pivx is a privacy coin, just like Monero and some others. You can't trade privacy coins with Caleb Brown because it's impossible to check that coins were actually received, and they've just, they've made a decision saying we don't trade privacy coins because we can't verify. And I respect them for that. So I have to find another place to swap them. So if I'm going to sell my Pivx and I'm going to sell it into T-Fuel, I can do it here. I don't know if I've had a video for this. Maybe I'll do one. I thought I might have. Uh, but I can take my Pivx and I can turn it directly into T-Fuel. It doesn't turn it directly in, but on the back end, if you look at the transactions, Pivx will be turned into USDT. USDT will then go in and purchase T-Fuel. So Simple Swap is a place that you can look at liquidating small amount of coins. But there's one that I hold that's OIX, no, OXY. Yeah, some of them, there's just not coins. There's not the liquidity, but which one was it? I think, yeah, that, you can do at Kalo and Brown, because I have enough to swap there. The interesting thing was, there was someone that I work with, and they were going to get rid of their Neo Gas on XYO. Thank you. XYO. Yeah, it still doesn't come up. There's no liquidity for XYO. Let me just take it right. Yeah, there's just nothing there. So you can trade XYO at Cable and Brown, but you can't do it on Simple Swap. Simple Swap has liquidity that people like you and I add to. Maybe they also do it with exchanges. And the person I was working with said, I'm just going to sell all my gas. And when gas really shot up a couple months ago, they tried to send their gas and turn it into something else. Well, the liquidity had dried up, because when things move, you can't rely on DEXs to have liquidity, which means to have the coins there that you want to swap. So if you're going to swap small coins like this, do it when things aren't crazy, because you may get to a DEX and there just won't be any liquidity and you can't trade the coin and you're kind of stuck with it. Do you recommend cloning your Yubikey to another to use as a backup? Nope, I just recommend having multiple Yubikeys, and that is, I don't know, you might be able to clone it, but just get a second and third Yubikey. And the reason for that, let's just say you mistakenly delete your Yubikey. Well, if you clone it, then that means the backup is also gone. But if you have 3 Yubikeys, 3 is overkill, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. If you have 3 Yubikeys and somehow you mistakenly delete one off an exchange, you still have 2 Yubikeys that you can get in with. Could you do a segment on which type of safes would be best for protecting crypto-related items? Lex, we will look at that. I know someone who is shy from across the pond over in Europe sent me some information that I have not gotten into the class, but it really depends on what you're looking for. Maybe we'll do a live stream and we'll have someone that will answer some of those questions. I'm about to get a small safe for my new office. I am moving where I can see sunshine, and so I need to do something a little like that. I don't need it totally secure, but I do need it from hands that might just come into my office, AKA my 6-year-old, and take it because he wants to play a joke, which he's a practical joker, or potentially, if we can ever invite anybody back into the house, some of his friends that might just, take it off the desk. Simple safe, but I wouldn't use it for other things. So yeah, maybe we can look at doing that later on. Vivian says, if you have a waterproof and fireproof safe, do you feel that would keep Ledger safe or still get bags? Still get bags. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I would just get a bag. The bags are so inexpensive that it's worth it. Bags to store stuff in is Is there a name for this product? Um, no, but it's basically uh, it's a waterproof bag. I have waterproof bags for kayaking. They're huge. That's not what I want to put in my safe, but there's also the little bags that are coming today are the size that you can put your iPhone in and you can lock up. When I've done kayaking this summer, I had my cell phone in it and I actually let it float in the water because it was overheating because it was sitting in the sun and it was fine, didn't leak. And because it's the size of a cell phone, I can put my Yubikeys in it, I can put my ledgers in it, that type of thing. And so I just have a bunch of those so I can see through them and I can easily get them. But the next piece that I'm going to look at is something larger for documents that I want to keep safe. Okay, Lucy, do you recommend purchasing coins through Caleb and Brown rather than purchasing on an exchange, then transferring them or my hard wallet or them to my hard wallet? I recommend you do what you feel best. I don't like any of the exchanges out there anymore. I used to use I don't like the jurisdiction of some of the exchanges, meaning if, I love America, don't get me wrong, but um, trust me when I say that when you are a company and someone comes knocking on your door with the Patriot Act and says, I want this information, even Apple's kind of turning over and getting on their back and saying, okay, we'll do what you want. And if you're dealing with a smaller company, they're going to give your information away because who wants to hire an attorney when someone's coming knocking in your door with the Patriot Act that you really don't have a choice? So with that being said, I don't like the jurisdiction of exchanges in the United States. So I go elsewhere, and that's Caleb and Brown. I know you can't buy things under 2000, but I'm not getting into crypto. I'm going to be transferring out of crypto. Uh, so it really just depends on your onboarding. You can always purchase things at Caleb and Brown at larger amounts like Bitcoin or Ethereum and then turn them into other coins that are smaller on a DEX. But it really just depends on what you feel comfortable with. John, I went through a major house fire. I had a top of the line safe. Do not put paper in plastic. The plastic will melt. It gives, I can give a lot more safety tips about safes. I will send you an email later today or tomorrow. You know what? That is didn't think about that, but you are correct. So, John, I will be looking for that. Okay. You have posted a few times about exit strategies for getting out of SHIB, exchanges, swaps, DEXs, like 1inch, etc. It seems like the swap DEXs have a lot of slippage fees. I looked at 1inch's fees and maybe I misread, but I saw up to 30%. What are the thoughts, recommendations? I may just use KuCoin and do tons of small sell orders for a 12-hour period. Any thoughts, ideas are warmly welcomed. It really just depends. There are slippage fees, and when things are moving, you're going to be paying higher fees. But that's what you kind of signed up for when you got into SHIB. You may be able to sell them on KuCoin. It depends on how many, what your KYC is, what your limits are. But you know, it depends on what the fees are at that point in time. I know with Simple Swap, I did some conversions. I wanted to prove to myself. I did Simple Swap, I did Binance.com, not US, and Caleb and Brown. And I converted some Litecoin, some Bitcoin, and some BCH on all three platforms. Binance took the longest time, and it was the hardest one to do. I did Simple Swap, which took a little bit of time, but was a lot easier than Binance. And I did Caleb and Brown. And when I looked at that time period right then, because I did it all within a 12-hour period, so all relatively the same amount of time, or the time space. And I wanted to prove to myself that I was going to be paying more with Caleb and Brown, and I didn't. They all were relatively very close in the fees, and it could have been for that time period, but Caleb and Brown got me a lower price when I converted to T-Fuel. So their fees were much higher, but they got me in at a lower price. Simple swap and the exchanges, there are the fees, but also are you paying more for the coins themselves? So, I can't say one exchange is going to be better than the other because it really just depends on the time that you're doing it. John, that is good. If you do know an expert, that would be great to bring them on, and maybe they can help us out. Okay, Ron, I have the following coins: FLM, HBAR, IOST, T-Fuel. Where can I find blockchains to put them into my Ledger Nano X? Well, FLM will go into your Neo wallet, and you'll use the Neo app, because these are just going to be quickies. There are videos on, I believe, the Bitcoin Academy YouTube channel. HBAR, if you search for no KYC HBAR or HBAR no KYC, on YouTube, you'll come up with a video that I put out there, I think about a year ago. I get about 3 or 4 people, now it's more every day. It used to be I would get people emailing me saying, hey, could you help me create an HBAR wallet? And that was probably, maybe 1 or 2 a week. Now I get about 2 or 3 a day. And if you go through that video, it'll show you how to display a QR code and a public key. If you email me that information, I can create an HBAR wallet for you. IOST, like we had said back a little bit earlier, and if you go to blacklab.net, or you can watch this video earlier in it, there is a Citadel wallet, and that's what I recommend for IOST. T-Fuel, you use the Ethereum wallet on the Theta wallet site right there, wallet.thetatoken.org, and use hardware ledger. You need to have the Ethereum wallet open, and you can store your T-Fuel there. Okay, and we are going to close this up in a little bit, so no more. 132 is the last question, because I'm going to go swimming with the family. They're already there. Okay, hey George, this was truly valuable time for me. I'm grateful to you for taking so much of your personal and weekend time to benefit us all. You rock. Thanks, my friend. Thank you, Jack. I'm glad I could do this. Maybe we'll do this, maybe twice a month, maybe once a month. We can see. Hi, George. Can Yubikey help secure a ledger via the Ledger website? I would not worry about that. Your ledger, you physically have to have it in place. They had something in place. They may still have it there, but don't make things too complex, especially locking things out of your ledger. Spend the time securing your ledger in your house. Don't worry about securing your ledger from yourself. I like to secure things with a Yubikey when it is on the web. So if I have a safe, let's say I had a safe in my house and I could use a Yubikey on it, I wouldn't do it because someone has to be present in my house to use it. But if something like Lastpass, where you can access it throughout the net, that's where I would put my Yubikey, because someone could try to hack and does not have to be in my house. But when I have possession of something, I don't try to put too much on it. Would you recommend using Face ID for Lastpass, as they suggest it for account recovery, or set up a PIN is better? they do not allow both. Honestly, Anthony, the way my life is now, I use face recognition because I don't go anywhere. When I used to travel, if I traveled over, honestly, if I traveled overseas now, I don't think I would take my real cell phone. I have when I have one-on-ones with people, I have a different cell phone, completely different number, completely different provider. Who do I use for my work? I think it's in the class, but it's really inexpensive. Uh, I do use facial recognition. If I travel, I turn that off. But I kind of want convenience. And since I'm really only in my house, I don't commute for work. I feel comfortable with that. You should do what you feel comfortable with, but don't expose yourself too much. If you're in New York City and you're traveling, in the subway, that's different than me here out in the country where there are deer eating in my front yard. So it really just depends on your comfort level. Highly suggest boating waterproof. Thank you, Randy. Vivian, I have small kayaking bags, super inexpensive. Yep. Unfortunately, I use Amazon because it's so easy and I don't want to go into a store. I don't even know where to go to stores anymore. So, doing shopping online is pretty easy. Yep. Amazon, search for fireproof document bags. Jetta Red, yes, but I did my research a little bit and just be careful because fireproof document bags aren't necessarily waterproof. They say water resistant. They say that there's a zipper, but my neighbor, not that close, a couple blocks away, they had 7 feet of water in their basement. Something really went wrong. And they were pumping it out 2 weeks later. So you just have to make sure the pressure and the time that it would be underwater. And just be careful with the fireproof document bags that say they're waterproof. See what the waterproofing is like because it's not as waterproof as one might think. Especially when it's coming from these bags. Some of them, probably most of them, come from a different country, and their requirements of waterproofing and ours are very different. If there's a Ziploc, if there's a zipper on it, I saw some of them that called it waterproof, and I was like, that is not, because I know what waterproofing is, especially when you're in a kayak. Okay, Keith and Cheryl, I am looking at Yuba. Do you recommend getting them with NFC? Yep, near NFC gives you the ability to, it's basically near network. So you could have something that would unlock your phone or others through kind of a radio signal. It's very close. It's not that someone would be able to do it from a far distance. But yeah, with NFC, that's relatively new, and also make sure that you get one with the correct USB. Like I have them all except for one of them that has USB-C. I have one that's just regular USB, and I use that on certain computers, but everything's headed to USB-C, and so do that. The other is I have a Yubikey, an older Yubikey that would plug into the bottom of my phone with the lightning. You don't really need that. Just do like Keith and Cheryl suggested, NFC, but it really just depends on the age of your phone. Vivian, are you able to say if Caleb Brown has reporting requirements to United States agency? Right now, they don't. They're not required. But that could change in the future. We just don't know if someone's going to come knocking at their door and give someone pressure saying, we need this information and we want it now. So, but right now they don't have any requirements. Gene asks, do you know if crypto.com will send out tax reporting statements when you have profits? I don't know. Check with them. You got to remember, I have used Gemini in the past. I've used Coinbase. what other US? That's kind of it. I converted fiat into crypto and I took it off the site. I have no intention of going back to either of those exchanges and taking crypto and putting it back into fiat because I don't like the jurisdiction. I still pay my taxes. Don't get me wrong. I'm just going to do it my way. And it's a lot easier with the relationship that I have with Caleb and Brown on setting up an LLC, a trust, than I tried to set up my LLC with Gemini. There were so many hoops. There, you know, the requirements, the KYC, it was like, forget it. I'm not going to jump through hoops, and I will go with someone who it's a lot easier to deal with. And frankly, that I can pick up the phone and say, hey, Jeff, I'm having an issue, or hey, Jeff, have a nice day. He called me the other day. He called me on my birthday. He was like, happy birthday. I'm like, oh, I actually can do a one-on-one. I'd love to talk to you, but do you think Coinbase is ever going to do that? Do you think Gemini is ever going to do that? Let's just put it this way. My brother, who does not listen to this, and he's going to be sorry that he is not participating in crypto, but I had him get a Coinbase account and he got hacked out of all of his crypto. Don't know how much it was. And to top that off, he got, to add insult to injury, they had him do a test, quote unquote, transfer, and they got about 2 grand out of his bank account. And when he told me this earlier this week, it happened a while ago, I'm like, brother, you know that this is what I do for a living, right? He didn't say anything. And I said, well, okay, you can get the money back that you used for the credit card. And he said, actually, no, because I authenticated it. I approved it and they won't give his money back. So just be careful on that. Jack, for longer term storage tip, many states have independent non-bank safe deposit companies that do nothing but provide 24/7 security in Fort Knox style structures for less than you'd pay for a small vault. Not as convenient for daily access, but a strong, safe, longer term option. That's good to know, Jack. I know during 9/11, which I was around for, fortunately, I was not in New York, but I had worked there just a little bit before that. One of the issues that came up, I'm trying to remember who it was. They had kept a go bag in a bank safety deposit box, and during 9/11, everything was closed down, as we know. Banks were closed, and so it'd be interesting to know what these safety deposit companies, what their policy is on, are they 24/7 even if there's a national emergency, or can those also be closed down so that we can get our information? Michael, when claiming FLM on Flamingo Finance, how long does it take for confirmation? I've been waiting 10 minutes. Is this normal? Or is there anything normal in crypto? Well, Michael, there's nothing normal in crypto. And yes, it looks like the flamingo going round and round and round doesn't mean that it hasn't finished. So when that happens, sometimes I just refresh and it will happen shortly, or it's already happened. The flamingo going round and round and round started way back when they first released Flamingo Finance, and it seems to have reared its ugly head again, but it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes for sure. It's not necessarily normal, but sometimes it stops, sometimes it doesn't. But if it says that it's giving you a confirmation or a hash, then it's pretty much, well, either processed or being processed. HBAR safe on Atomic Wallet, isn't it? I don't care for anything on Atomic or Exodus. If I want to transfer something really quickly, but I don't feel comfortable having it there because I don't know what I don't know. And I know that there was one issue, and I think it was Atomic. Jay got a coin stuck there and he tried to get support for it. And this was months and months ago, not, like we're about to sell some things. Some of us might be selling some things. But their reply was, well, the engineers have to fix that, and when it's fixed, then you'll be able to take the coins off. I don't want to wait for an engineer to fix something, so I don't necessarily recommend an Atomic Wallet or Exodus. You are welcome, Partido. Thank you, Michael. Okay, let's see. I think that's it. It is 1:45. I appreciate everybody coming in and asking some great questions. I will post this, leaving some feedback on, if this was well worth it, if you want to do it again underneath the video when it's posted later on this evening, because I'm going to go jump in the pool with the rest of the folks. And I appreciate you spending some time with me today. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.